All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to tune in. Let me know how I sound in chat, and I will get the show ready. Okay. So At Night did post some stuff. I think I think they've been posting stuff for the last few days. So we will cover that as well. The main show is I'm going to be showing you guys all the different cameras that we know of, where they're located, and the routes that Sebastian could have taken. And in my opinion, once we see a lot of the positions of the camera, I think it's just nearly impossible for this teenager to get by all this surveillance. And so much more. So, sounds good? All right, awesome. And again, thank you to everybody. If you guys can, please hit that like button. Sadly, this case is starting to grow cold. And it's just, this case really bugs the heck out of me because I feel so bad for Seth. And of course, Sebastian, we need to find him, and those that are responsible, if there is, need to be held accountable. All right, let's get going. Okay, as always, I always like to do this because there's always a chance that maybe there's somebody in here that's not familiar with the case. So here's just a quick 2-minute recap of Sebastian Rogers, and then we'll get right into it. That's a good question, Shirley. To look at your question, I'm going to play this and I'll read your full question here in just a second. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover true crime, mystery to the missing video. Just to recap, Sebastian Rogers, who at the time was a 15-year-old autistic teenager, he sadly went missing between the night of the 25th and the morning of 26th of February of 2024. It's now been over a year and still no trace of Sebastian Rogers. Now, if you're not familiar with this case, I would encourage you to check out the 2 videos in this series. The link to those are down in the description below. Not long after Sebastian Rogers' disappearance, a local reporter, Nick Bears, would release a short video showing lights moving in the background near the Proudfeets home the same night Sebastian Rogers disappeared. Here. Okay, so there's just a quick little recap of Sebastian Rogers. Of course, there's so much more with surveillance footage, the 3 a.m. footage, which I have spent hundreds of hours now studying. I still have maybe 1 or 2 tricks up my sleeve that I can maybe pull off, but it may take some time. Yeah, Becca says, I haven't heard about this case in a while. Yeah, unfortunately, it's growing cold, and it's just such a shame because obviously we talked about it on July 4th, and we've talked about it a lot, and it's just a case that I just feel like there is stuff there that it just needs to come to light. But so what I'm going to do, I'm going to recap what I covered on July 4th, but the main show is going to be where the surveillance cameras that I know of are at, and kind of give some routes that Sebastian could have took, but then, of course, show why I don't think he could, get around these cameras without being caught on one of them, if not multiple of them, because there's just about every other home had surveillance cameras, some having multiple cameras. And so much more. So we'll just quickly recap. On July 4th, of course, we kind of covered like what is going on, because in the cases that I've worked on and currently with Aiden Clune, I just got done helping his mother again. He's been with Aiden Clune. He went missing. He is a 19-year-old. Went missing in 2023. Yeah, 2023. And was it 2022? One of the two. Yeah, because it's been 3 years. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2022. My apologies. God, it's gone by so fast. And last year we had found his shoes, which was a huge find. And then, of course, his mother just recently went out searching. And anyway, so just to come full circle, what's going on? Because, you would think in this case, with according to Kit Kat and Crispy over here at the top, one of their main theories for pretty much the first whole year that Sebastian was missing was that he wandered off. So if that was the case, in my experience, again, a little bit of experience that I've had working in other cases, and if you're new to the channel, I'll back that up. What are they doing? They're not searching, but you do have Seth out there outspoken, and we'll play a little clip that we played. Again, it's just recapping a little bit that we did on July 4th, but I promise I've got a whole complete show.
It has been 453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry is outside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, where Sebastian's father made an emotional plea today. Caitlin.
Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, was deeply frustrated when he spoke with me. He fears the case is going cold.
My son's been missing for 15 months, and they don't care.
Sebastian disappeared in February last year. He was just 15 years old. Initial search efforts involved local police, the TBI, and the FBI. But those physical searches have since shifted to focus on the investigative side. The last press conference on the case was more than a year ago.
I would love to see them actually conducting more searches. I'd like to have some communication on the tips that have come in just with me, so that I know that when a tip comes in, I'm not following up on what job they're supposed to do.
Okay, so I know if you were here on July 4th, I know I kind of covered this, and I promise we'll get into the other stuff, but I just kind of, yeah, Shirley, that's a great question. I mean, it would probably, I guess maybe, we could send a message at night saying, because I think that would maybe be something you'd put on the poster or something. I don't think that's a bad question, though. They did, Kathy. I don't know how many. I just know this last search just really was devastating for her. So I've been trying to give her some time before I talk to her again. It's tough. Because that case is rough. Yeah. But they had cadaver dogs out there, and it's a case, like I said, if this channel, all that I've wanted to do is just help provide some assistance, and if it leads to, bringing closure to just even one case, and it takes me 20 years to do, then, that'll make it a million times worth it, right? That's all I care about. That's why this case, it's so frustrating, because just, again, with my experience working with some families, again, not a lot of experience, but some, and then seeing the two factions, Seth Rogers, the two camps, Seth Rogers, and then Kit Kat and Crispy over here, just polar opposites, right? Polar opposites. How come we don't see Kit Kat, Katie, Stinkfeet, out here doing the same thing, right? What are we doing? We're sitting on our hands? Why is Seth out here being outspoken? You got Crispy, who's just, trolling YouTube. But what else are they doing, right?
That says only one detective is actively assigned to the case and that he is often left to chase down the same leads, also sent to law enforcement.
We need more than just one set of eyes on this case, but it all falls on my shoulders to ask people to help find my son. My son means something to me. These people should be doing their job.
In his push for progress, Seth says he's reached out to lawmakers and is even drafting federal legislation aimed at reforming how child protection agencies and the Amber Alert system handle missing children's cases.
It's a federal oversight law on places like CPS, DCS, the Amber Alert, getting it redone and taking it out of people's hands that don't care about the children.
According to the FBI, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing in the U.S. every year. Seth says every one of those cases deserves attention, including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
If you think that's like acting, then shame on you. Just shame on you. Not even the best actor. Again, I know we covered this on July 4th, but I just had to play that because, again, he's out here. He's not out here on an anniversary or something. He's just out there in... I think this took place in March, maybe April. Well, maybe not even that long. It was about 2 months ago, right? So we're in July, something around in there, 2 months ago when he had this. So it wasn't that long ago, But again, where's the other camp? What are they doing? I'll show you what they're doing.
We reached out to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for a statement. They assured us this case remains a...
So you're going to get a little bit of snarky, Chris. I'm going to try to keep the language down because I want to try to stay humble. But we got to rock the boat here. And so I'm going to... Yeah, you're in for a show.
Top priority and said in part, please know that behind the scenes a tremendous amount of work has been done and will continue. Some aspects of the investigation are not
it's heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking to hear that.
Nature of the case. Sebastian's family continues to ask for the community's help. If you know anything about Sebastian's whereabouts, you're asked to call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office or the TBI.
There you go.
Those numbers can be found on our website at WKRN.com. Live in Gallatin, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
And so I'm going to kind of skip a little bit of this. This is, who has a bigger motive. Obviously, it's very clear. We'll just recap just really quickly because I know this stuff we covered on 4th. I've got a whole new show for you guys. But again, the father only had Sebastian every other weekend. Every other weekend. So just a few days a month, right? And was working on getting custody. And then between the two factions, has the actual best alibi. He's on camera. We're not going to get into the alibi because it's just ridiculous that people even look at Seth, when he's... we know he's caught on camera, and we know we've seen his... I have it somewhere in my files, but there's, screenshots of his, timesheet or whatever. But anyway, so again, what I said on July 4th, if he's sick of his son, all he has to do is just say, screw it. I don't want nothing to do with Sebastian. You take, full, and I'll just pay child custody and I'll move on with my life. Right? Like, why would you go through the process of trying to eliminate him when if you just want him out of your life, you would just, I'm done taking him for every other weekend. It's too much for me. I'll just pay child support. And then, of course, you have the other side where mother's got full, responsibility. And then, of course, with the open CPS reports from Crispy, of course, there's a reason why, he hadn't seen Sebastian since like February, because clearly there was open CPS, whatever, they try to hide on that, but we know that there's multiple reports. So, again, he drives a wedge between them. It's just, Occam's razor. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I want to play this. Because the last time I did this, I clearly rocked the boat. I think this was in March. And then unfortunately I got sick, and then, Crispy threatened, allegedly threatened me, for those that know. But I want to play this part, and then we'll get into the surveillance in about 10-15 minutes. I just got a few things I just want to, get through. And thank you, everybody. We already got 500. Please hit that like button. God bless you. Again, we're going to get into some new stuff, but I just want to play this because I'm just want to show you my experience, and I want to show you just how, because you're going to get Snarky Chris here in just a minute, because there's so many things wrong with what we're just about to hear, and I'm going to get so upset for so many reasons, and I'll explain why, and I'm going to show you on the screen.
Maybe she's found a new path. Maybe she's looking.
So of course, Crew Minotti has stink feet on, and they're talking about searches and stuff like that, and others. And the video you're seeing, I'll explain here in just a minute. But this video is us working on a Texas cold case, oh God, how many years old was it? 30-year-old cold case, trying to find this poor guy Larry's daughter, 2-year-old daughter, that is likely buried somewhere out here. It's terrible.
For the road to glory. I'm not sure. I do wish her the best on it. I hope that's what she's doing.
Well,
yeah, it's
you guys keep asking about the ground penetrating radar and stuff like that. I can tell.
Okay, did you hear what she just said? Now, those that know what they're talking about, just before Fisher left the scene, after just spending all his time on Twitter when he was hired by the Stink Feet, that towards the end, he mentioned, I think we're going to try to, crowdfund a thing for GPS for that stupid construction site that they love to, point people towards. And we're going to shut that shit down. Sorry. What you're seeing here, so there's two types of ground penetrating radar. There's the one with the lawnmower, right? That looks like a lawnmower. That's one way. This one's a different setup. It does the same thing. It's just kind of used different stuff, of course. I would need Caroline to, explain all the things. Actually, Dee in the chat has worked with this as well. Anyway, but this is kind of looks like a car battery, and you run extension cords, and those lines then, use electricity, and they check the resistance underground, right? And then they can see the voids and stuff like that. This equipment is so expensive, and to get somebody that has that equipment, that experience, knows what they're looking at when they get the readings, all that stuff costs a lot of money. Right? So this is where I get really ticked off. The fact that they would try to pull on the heartstrings and try to pull people on that side of the camp, hey, we're going to do this ground penetrating radar thing, and the fact that how much it could cost and all that, just knowing, because I've worked with these, here I am. I'm filming this right now. Of course, I, helped a lot. We did a lot on this case. This is an Amber Crumb case out in Texas. But this is a lot.
Oh, you guys, I've told you this once before, but Chris and Katie are dedicated to finding their son, right? They do things in the background. They don't need to come out here, get in the spotlight, get ass pats, and attaboys and pats on the head. I can 100% assure you, and let me tell you, the stuff that they're doing, it's not free, right?
No, it's not free at all. The GPR, for those that know what they're talking about, again, I'm not claiming I'm an expert. I've just seen it done. We worked out there for, I think, 5 days. I think we did 3 days, I think, of ground penetrating radar, maybe 4. But yeah, seen it how it's done. These people are full of shit. And now let's listen to Crispy.
Legitimate search things are being done on their dime, right? So they are not stopping the search for their son.
Bullshit.
Period. Will you hear about it on the internet?
Liar.
No, you won't.
Liar.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Yeah, you tell him, Westbrook. You tell him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, no. I mean, she's very correct. We're not going to come out in the public and videotape and start posting on everything that we have done and are currently involved with or have planned. It just, if you publicize it, then too many people get involved, and more people just tend to get in the way for certain things. And it's.
Do you know 99% of the missing children, teenagers, whatever, missing persons out there, the families, what they would give to be in this position, to have this kind of recognition where they could get people, God knows how many volunteers that would come out because it's such a big case? BS. This is such horseshit. All these families that, unfortunately, there's only those few cases that, unfortunately get to the top, right? That have that. They have that. They could bring in so many people because this is such a high profile case. And what he is saying, it's so disgusting. Again, I've got a whole other show, but I just got to get into this because the last time I touched on this, I know I touched a nerve on them because Chris came after me literally like a week later. So clearly I touched a nerve when I covered this, so I'm hoping that'll happen again.
Just not conducive to what needs to be done, unfortunately. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not an organizer. I'm not going to sit here and organize a 500-person search party, line us up in a
Yeah, why do that? Because, having 500 people, that's not going to help you at all, right? I mean, when we're doing these smaller cases, we're lucky if we get like 10, 15 people. You had 500 people out there. Of course, clearly you got some money. You could hire a couple of people. I mean, you had Fisher, or, Fish Sticks out there. I'm assuming he's kind of, done some, volunteer searching. And so, you get like one or two like captains that, organize that. Again, all it is excuses and bullshit.
line and start marching through fields. I can't because one, there's a lot of legal issues. There's a lot of health issues.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You got to have
You
certain.
tell him, Garrett. That's me. Every time I hear him say that, that is me inside, just
things in place, and that's just not something that we are equipped to do. But trust me, we do appreciate everybody looking. If you want to go out there and look on your own, please be safe.
Do I need to remind you, Taller, with the information that he has, what he's doing? Do I need to remind you? Do I need to remind the trolls, because I know some trolls are going to come in here, let me show you what Seth is doing.
Yes, the Amber Alert, getting it redone, and taking it out of people's hands that don't care about the children.
According to the FBI,
That's
an
what Seth's
estimated
doing.
460,000 children are
Because he's got information that doesn't lead, and we're going to get into the whole surveillance and about how BS him walking off. We'll get into that.
reported missing in the
But
U.S.
for the trolls,
every year. Seth says every one of those cases deserves attention, including Sebastian.
and let me ask anybody, is this on an anniversary? Because, obviously it's only, on a special occasion we get Kit Kat and Crispy, right?
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him.
I'm going to get so upset. All right. So what happens when we talk about this case? I was thinking about pulling some crispy highlights, but, I'd have to censor about 90% of it because it's just disgusting what comes out of his mouth. It's so disgusting. So disgusting. And 90% of it, 99% of it's towards women.
I am stating.
Okay, Chris.
This is a rumor floating around, and I would like us to squash it.
Yeah, I think that is a great rumor to try to squash. That one's on Facebook, and the rumor is actually that...
So that's Crispy. I'm going to skip this because he's going to start swearing. He's going to curse because, there's women on the channel. Don't talk about my truck. Don't talk about my wife. Don't talk about the case. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. F off.
And if you're unfamiliar...
So... Anybody, I'm going to leave this up because this is important because remember, we wanted to, because we need to shake things up, right? And I promise you, I've got a whole other show where we need to shake some stuff up and, we need to get it out of Sumner County's hands. We need to get it into somebody that actually cares. They didn't fumble the hell out of this in the beginning. And... So there's the QR there you can scan. Now, so I was listening to Coffin Daffers live, but I think it was like a week and a half ago. Now, I know that Seth is trying to get it to a federal level. Again, this is kind of out of my area expertise. I don't know. According to Coffin Daffer, she doesn't think they can take that because I think you need evidence to show it's like across the state, something happened across states, or it's got to be on... federal ground. Again, this is that's not my area expertise. Somebody knows in chat, please correct me. But she did say, which actually surprised me, that the National Missing and Exploited Children, they have a task force, which I thought was interesting. And she said that they could maybe take over this case. So that's very interesting. So I'm trying to look it up, or get to some contacts and see what I can do on my end because I want to do whatever I can on my platform. Thanks to you guys taking the time to whatever we can to get this out of Sumner County, right? Get it out of their hands. Clearly, they're not speaking with Seth anymore, right? Crispy and Katie, they're probably on vacation somewhere. I appreciate that, Jody. Thank you. Good to see you, Lakeside Lawyer. Lakeside, yeah. I think Lakeside Lawyer would probably know a lot. Okay, we're about to get into the new stuff, but I do want to play this because... if you recall, remember how they said, well, we're not going to be posing for pictures, we're going to be working behind the scenes, right? But of course, I have my connections very close, and if anything was going on, somebody would know, right? This case is so big that somebody would know. Oh, and there's There's Carolyn right there on her secret. She is the lovely, her and her sister Christina, who we worked on the Amber Crumb case, and knows everything about GPR, ground penetration radar. But anyway, here we have Fish Sticks, Crew Minotti, and then we have Kit Kat and Crispy over here. And I love Matt Thibodeau's reaction to this. I know this is a little bit old, but I wanted to play this clip because there's something in here. And I love Matt Thibodeau.
Someone sent me
I know this is a little bit older.
This was posted yesterday on Steve Fisher's X. And if you're unfamiliar, this is Katie and Chris. Steve Fisher, the guy who said that he was Chris's private investigator. Chris said, no, he's lying. He said, yes, he is. Who's lying? Because now they're all in a photo together. Was Chris lying? Was Steve Fisher lying? What is going on there? And then you have these two people from YouTube who See, I actually liked Steve Fisher at one point. I think that him going down, being boots on the ground in cases and active.
And that's what I said before. When I got into this case for the second time, I'm like, Fisher, again, he is a seasoned PI. He has a track record, right? Even though he's a piece of garbage, because of what he did to this case, he's garbage now. But again, it sucks because it's like, yes, this guy has a track record. And he's still out there looking, but he sold his soul to the devil in this case, and it just,
Searching is something that should be respected. What I don't respect, however, is the hypocrisy. Him claiming that he's going down to Hendersonville solely to look for Sebastian.
Oh, yeah,
he's not engaging in the drama. He is...
Okay, I do need, thank you, thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, she used ERI. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's more or less kind of the same thing. I know she could explain a whole lot better than I could. Yeah, that was ERI, the chords that you saw earlier, but it's basically trying to do the same thing.
Staying, out of everything, and he's just focused on Sebastian. Yet his ex is literally him just bashing other people who are, one, searching for Sebastian, and two, the person who is literally the biological father of Sebastian. How are you going to say that you're not down there for the drama when you're literally feeding into it, fueling it, and you're working with these two people right here? Just listen to this for a second.
Come try me. And I really mean that. Come try me. Like you ain't met nobody like my kind before.
Like, is that someone that you want to be searching with? This is a trained professional searcher to you, because that's what he claims. He's working with trained professionals, but these are the people that he's searching with. I, for one, would not even allow this woman to be around my child with the mouth that she has, the things that she says.
Now, I don't want to get too personal with this, but there's one last thing he brings up. Now here, so again, because I know I might have some new people in here. So again, I'm not an expert. I have a little bit of experience in searching. For those that don't know, the guy next to me is Dan or Dave? Oh, God. My dyslexics. But he's part of EquiSearch. And this was in the Dylan Rounds case, right?
Any of the events in Sebastian's name. We've seen them motorcycle shopping. We've seen them camping at RV parks. We've seen them out.
And anyway, for those who don't know, Texas EquiSearch also was involved in searching for Sebastian. So there's a lot of people that I worked with Dylan Rounds for, I think we were out there 5 days back in 2022. It's been a while. And yeah, a lot of the same people. I don't think it was all the same crew, but they did go out there and search for Sebastian Rogers. So anyway, okay, so one last thing, and then we're going to get into the new stuff, but I'm so glad on Earth. Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, and she says there's several reasons that will likely not work. Well, I'm going to show you one reason why. Why would you do it? would you just go out there on a whim with how much that would cost? I mean, I know if you own the equipment and if people paid you out there, I know you would go out there because you're that type of person. But I would think you would want something at least that gives you, some kind of circumstantial evidence that would, point to him being in that construction zone, right? You just wouldn't want to bring out this equipment and spend all this time when, you could be working on another case that has more circumstantial evidence that somebody might be under that area, right? With the cost and everything. And that's my point, and we'll get to that here. Okay, so we'll skip the watch. Okay, one last thing.
We've cooperated with all the.
Okay. Let's see. Oops. Okay. One last thing. I just want to talk. I'm going to do a short video on the Apple Watch that just ended up going missing. The second he was gone, her Apple Watch has never been seen. She's done tons of interviews. There's tons of photos, that they were captured, out in public. No Apple Watch. She had the Apple Watch the night before Sebastian Rogers went missing. After that, Apple Watch is gone. And then what did law enforcement do with electronics? Because you'd think that'd be very huge to look at that. What did they do? Let's see. Again, 8 days after missing, no Apple Watch. Kind of think it's funny that, kind of interesting. She has right where she had it, because she had it on her left hand, the wedding ring. No Apple Watch. Of course, haven't seen the Apple Watch ever since.
Yeah. When they took my electronics and they didn't touch Chris or Katie's electronics for over 2 weeks. Over 2 weeks.
So
we've combed every electronic.
Look at the way she's just. And to me, I don't think she's being truthful, but at the same time, I do think they probably, in my opinion, I think they did comb through their electronics. We know they were both in the Navy. We know Katie is super intelligent. Very intelligent with communications. We've gone over her background. And again, yeah.
We've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided, and still just don't have any answers.
Wow. And then all of a sudden, I go to Chris's house that morning, and this is 2 weeks later, and he's like, I can't give it to you. My account has been hacked, and somebody has bought in games like Minecraft and stuff like that on his account.
Okay, so we have Caroline. I'm going to probably skip forward here. There was a couple things I wanted to touch on, but because we have her here, let's go over to this. Okay. So, yep. Let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's start out. Now, again, I'm still working on this. I'm going to have another video. Maybe I'll do a short video once I get everything that I know for a fact, and then the ones that I'm not sure I'll highlight. So, obviously, what you're seeing, this is Sebastian Rogers' home, right? Now, in the backyard, remember, this is the Henderson PD guy that allegedly rumored to maybe had or may not had a stint with Katie while, Crispy was away. Again, that's all just speculation. But the main thing is they got a camera that's literally facing their backyard. And then on top of that, we've got a camera facing their front yard, right? So right out the gate, we've got 2 cameras during a nighttime where we have a waxing moon right? Waxing crescent moon, which is basically more or less a full moon out. Even though they don't have street lights, there's still lights on the home. And if so, and we'll talk about this, but let's theorize that he tried to go up north, right? Let's see how many cameras he's got to get through, right? And I'm going to show you the ones that I know of, and I'll show you the ones that I not as sure, but I know that they have them, just not sure exactly where they're positioned. So let's look at this, right? Because we're going to get to the construction site, see how ridiculous this is, right? So obviously the only thing what I would give to have this footage, right? Because this is the footage facing his front door. And this is literally covering. So remember, as far as we know, unless that little crawl space is a fourth exit, that there's like a trap door from the house. From what I understand, there's, when it was built, there wasn't. But who knows, with these people. So you literally have the front door exit. Fortunately, this stupid garbage truck that Fisher loves to just throw in with us is blocking it. But the front door's here. We have the garage lights. We have obviously the garage doors. Obviously, him opening that would be silly. And then we have a side door, but we shut that down. There's no way he's coming out the side door. He would disturb the lights, not only from this side of the camera, but on the other side of the camera. So there's no way he's coming out the side door, right? So here's a look. Now, why I say there's no way, because if we zoom in, I don't know if this one I have zoomed in. I zoom one in later. This is not the home. This is the home across the street. So if he comes out, we would see a shadow. It might be brief, unless he's like crawling on the ground. He is going to disturb the light. Right? This little stick right here, and I know you're probably on your cell phone, you're like, oh my God, I can't see anything. I'll zoom in later. He would disturb the light, in my opinion. But anyway, let's just say somehow he gets out the front door or back door, climbs the fence. One way or another, he's trying to get up Killen or Stafford, right? Oh, but by the way, Mr. Henderson PD officer has multiple cameras. He has camera facing the back, and he also has one somewhere facing the front, the door. And he may have more. So just keep that in mind. Now, let's just say he did. The only way I think he could at least get past a few of these is to run up the middle, which you can. We know that there's for a bit, you can actually go through between these yards. They're kind of, because there's this ditch, because it's kind of built on a rolling hill, and so with the rain, they don't want it pulling up in somewhere. So they have a storm. It's basically a ditch, and that allows the water to run south, and then it comes around and goes into a storm drain. So kind of down here in the middle, they have this like storm drain. So if there's anywhere that he could go, that would probably be right up between them, right? But again, this home here, looking at my notes, 1016, that's 1016, right? Yep. 1016 has multiple cameras. Now, I don't know exactly where they're placed, but I know he has multiple cameras. And then 1018, again, has, I want to say a Ring camera. I got to come back on that one. This one, I'm a little not 100% on exactly what he has. And then, of course, 1023 on Killen. They mention cams, so plural. And then we get into 1028, right? That's 1028. So again, now here's the issue with this one. So let's say he's going to try to run up the middle, right? To try to, again, I don't know how he would know where all these cameras were because, again, this would be on a whim. So this is the camera on, 10:30, right? Yeah, this is 10:30, I believe. So this is where I get really, really frustrated. So do you remember on the anniversary, we heard that they might have had some footage of Sebastian Rogers. Remember, they waited. And then what was messed up is that months prior, Fish Sticks, the wannabe PI, sold his soul to the devil, said, oh yeah, we've got this footage where, one of the neighbors' children might have been out there and Sebastian's hiding behind a car and, he's got some explaining to do. Remember, this is this video. And the fact that he was, we've gone over this, it makes me so upset that he would put a mother's child's life in danger like that, because this case, it's so heavily followed. It's got 2 camps, and we know that there's weirdos out there that may think, oh God, this is the guy that, her son was behind it, and may take the, stuff into their own hands. And all because Fisher is trying to push out a narrative. Shame on you. You're a clown. What it was, and before this footage was released on the anniversary, so they had this for months. They knew this footage. And I'm going to show you something that's even more ridiculous that I haven't showed you before. That is just, it is so upsetting. And we'll get to the construction site. Hang in there with me, Carolyn. But first, what we see is a guy coming out of his house on Devon, right? So we have Killen Ave right here, but this is Devon. What we're looking at this camera, it is heavily zoomed in. This camera has got a huge, at least 80 POV, probably even up to 90. 80 to 90 POV, somewhere in there. I'd say maybe 80 just to be safe. But we are heavily zoomed in right now. We can say the guy coming out. Now, what this guy did, just before this got all released, for those that remember, because I had my connections, I was able to get the full video of what was going on, and it was clear as day, because that shot that I showed you guys came from me. And that is the guy coming out of his home. And he's walking his dog. And what he does is he goes down Devon Court. He circles the cove. And then he comes down Killen. And he comes up to about this home here. And he turns around, right? So here's that same shot at the same time. Right? Now look at all these lights in the background, right? So again, they don't have street lights. But look at all these homes that are lit up. And I'll explain something why this is very important. Because obviously, if he's walking any of these yards, he is going to either trigger this camera for sure. Because look what triggered the camera. It was a guy. I'd have to calculate the distance. It's a guy coming out of his home on the other street, and the motion activated caught that. Just think about that for a second, right? Sorry, I'll get to chat here in a minute, but I just want to get to this part. This is why it makes me so upset. So, what happens? So again, if he goes up the middle, we reach a point where there's a fork in the road. Because as you can see here, we've got 2 pools, right? And of course, so they've got this fencing. Now, we still have that ditch that runs through, but they've got this fenced off. So now now, of course, anyone could climb a fence, but remember, he doesn't have his shoes. So now he's forced one or two ways. Either he's going to come out Killen and go up, and he is now going to cross in front one of multiple cameras that are very good, which we'll look at. We've seen them before. There's just no way he goes up Killen without being caught on camera. Now, he could go the other way, But then we have on this street, Stafford, which is 1018. Okay, 1018 is the one I still need to figure out exactly what they have. I don't know if it's ring or security or both, but they do have surveillance. So again, if he goes left, and again, so here I zoom in. Again, he's got a fork in the road. He could have gone up between those yards for a bit and avoided probably a lot of cameras. But again, I don't know all the cameras. I'm still working on this. I still don't know all the cameras, but this is just trying to give you an idea of how crazy and how I know fish sticks, the seasoned fish stick, would have known all these cameras and probably got a lot of this footage. If he goes up the end of Stafford, 1023, 1024, both have surveillance footages. Now, I'll be honest, I don't exactly know exactly where they're pointed. But they have cameras. You can hear it on the dispatch audio. But once again, and they may have multiple cameras. A lot of these homes, not just have one camera, they have multiple cameras. And we'll get into that when we go south. But once again, if he's forced up and he's going to eventually go over to this construction site, again, he's going to be either forced down Devon or Killen. And we know, even though I'd kind of messed up on this, I'd have to make this big red mark. Remember, this one camera, literally, that's the house, the guy with the dog, that's his house right here. He comes out, he walks his dog, goes around here, then comes down Killen, and then stops about here, and then goes back, right? And I knew that before they released the whole video and all of this stuff on the anniversary. And of course, my sources told me, yeah, I guarantee you, this is probably the guy walking his dog. And of course, when we looked at the footage, it's like, holy cow. In my opinion, there's just no way this kid is getting past Devon and Kellen going into the construction zone. So I want to show you something absolutely ridiculous that just really ticks me off, and then we're going to get into so honored to have Carolyn from Unearthed Secrets with her expertise, but this is what upsets me. So again, here's that clip, remember, on the anniversary. Now, you can't really see much. I apologize. I know if you're on your cell phone, you probably can't see it, but we see a figure. Now, I know this looks like daytime. They just obviously added filters. This is taken around just after midnight, right? And now, again, it's really hard because, again, remember, this camera is super zoomed in right now. But you do, when I broke this down a long time ago, you can see something dart off. It's very grainy, which is likely his dog because he has a small dog. And then you kind of see his shadow, and he's just walking back. And literally, months prior to this release, Fish Sticks, the wannabe PI, said, yes, we have something, we have footage, and they sat on it, and then on the anniversary tried to claim that this was Sebastian, and then remember, they never turned it over to law enforcement, and then literally they got pooped on the second they released this, with law enforcement saying, no, this is not Sebastian Rogers. Shame on you. Why were they trying to do that? Well, let's get into that. Oh, one more thing, though. Something new. And then I'll stop, take a break. But I just want to because I know we have the lovely Carolyn in the chat. So, again, clowns. 2 clowns. They forgot to wear their makeup, but clowns Oh, look at this footage. All right, unseen footage for you guys. Exclusive here. This is the morning that, again, 6:20 a.m. This is from the same camera, right? That's that guy's home. Let's see what's going on. And I apologize if you're on a smarter device. This is a dog. This is a guy with one of those extender leashes. Look what he's doing. He's doing the same exact routine that my sources told me that he does. And here he is in the morning doing the same thing with his dog, walking around Devon Court, coming about halfway, not even halfway down Killam, but it's somewhere around in here. And then, it's because it's just a routine that he has with his dog. And here it is. Here he is during the daytime. I could probably overlay the nighttime and daytime, and you'll see that they make the same path. It's ridiculous. Now, why I'm so pissed off is because Fisher had this footage. He knew about this. He knew about this. So this guy with this footage here, who Fish Sticks betrayed because he, the guy didn't really want to know, people knowing his house, even though I think it's kind of, unfortunately, once we heard addresses of the footage, it was, wasn't hard, especially, obviously Fish Sticks was the one that, kind of showed the full view of the camera. When I got it from my source, I was respectful to zooming in to kind of, at least be respectful to the person that, provided it, which, was an honor and a privilege. What I was going to try to say is, so it was in a Dropbox, right? And you got all these folders, right? They're all motion-centered timestamps, right? Of all the events that are going on for however long he had been recording. I know I've got 3 days. I don't have all the footage. I just have certain stuff. And obviously there's all these little events going on all night. Sometimes it's a cat running by. But again, it made it easy because all you had to do is just click, open a folder, look, there's this clip here, and you just move on. He had this. He didn't have to scan through the whole footage. It was all cut up right for him to see. He knew this. He knew this for months. And then here we're going to get to the GPR, and the thing that they were trying to do at the end before Fisher got fired or quit, whatever. So if you guys remember, and then we're going to go south after this, but remember, then he tried to get him over to the construction site at the end, and I wish I had more time, but if you guys remember, let me might as well just pull it up here. Whoa, it looks so different, right? Than before. But we know it didn't look like this when Sebastian went missing. I know I can change on a Google Earth. I'm pretty sure I can change it on this. Oh, no. Oops, that's the wrong one. Anyway, it's not really important. But anyway, they're trying to say he got buried under, the construction that's going on, right? Here's the ridiculous thing. After what I just showed you guys, right? Knowing that he had seen this, he clearly had seen it. He talked about it months ago on Aiden's show. Oh gosh, I can't think of the channel's name. Oh, shame on me. Please help me in the chat. Aiden's channel, that both Fish Sticks and Seth went on. But anyway, it was clear he knew about the footage. He knows this. And then before, you got fired, quit, whatever, he made that whole thing about, we're going to try to crowdfund to get the GPR out there. Lord Lodge. Oh, thank you guys. I'm so sorry, Lord Lodge. Again, Lord Lodge, you need to get some better mods. My goodness. Anyway, but I do love Aiden's show. But I need some better mods. No, not Deception Detective, but we love Deception Detective. God bless them. I would love to have him on the channel one of these times. But so since let me just I know we have so many people in here. We got Betty in here. Good to see you, Betty. June, thank you so much. I'll stop here in just a minute so I can read chat. I know I've been going on. I'm still here. Okay. So again, for anybody who doesn't know who she is a genius. She does ground penetrating radar. She works with the ERI machine. It's kind of the same thing. I showed it at the beginning when we worked on a case in Texas. It costs a lot of money. And the fact that they were trying to do this when they had the knowledge that it's, in my opinion, impossible. There's just no way Sebastian got past killing Ab or Devin Court without being seen on multiple cameras. In my opinion, it's just nearly, I always leave a 1% because you never know. God forbid, but just no way. But then you were to try to ask people for money. It is so disgusting. It is so disgusting to do that. But I can't imagine. I don't know if Carolyn, how much you could speak on what would, the kind of the logistics of trying to do something that's, I don't know the, how big this is, but clearly, depending on the size of what they're going to do, obviously the bigger, the more it's going to cost, to bring the equipment in, the time it's going to take. We did a little, when we did the stuff in Texas, to me, it didn't feel that big, but it took a lot of work to do. And of course we had to run multiple tests. And again, obviously she would explain it so much better. Someone who isn't familiar with the equipment or interpretation would also have to pay for someone to do the survey. Oh, right. So many different facets that I wouldn't even be able to think of because it's just not my area of expertise. But thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much for everything you've done. God bless you. Crispy critter. Yeah, there you go. I like that crispy mullet. But yeah, just shame on you. Shame on those clowns for doing that. When they had that footage and knew that there's just no way. But then let's just add on to that, right? Thank you so much, lady. Again, please hit that like button. Did it change? No, not yet. Is it playing? So then we also have, because remember, there's more cameras. And then we even have a camera that is actually looking at the construction zone. But you know what I find interesting is I love how we don't even get to see what it looked like at night. Because remember, it was a waxing moon. We don't know the lighting, of course, because, why be transparent? But, of course, here's the other thing that he wanted to show us. He wanted to show us just a random dog that's just, not really tracking his actual scent. He's just tracking something. Again, I'm not a dog expert, but this is his circumstantial evidence, right? We got somebody walking a dog over here going into the construction site, and that is now his excuse to pull this whole narrative, even though he has all this other, I wouldn't even say circumstantial evidence, I would say evidence, surveillance footage that shows it's just impossible that this kid would have gotten down up through Killen, passing God knows how many surveillance cameras, and then some of the best surveillance cameras at the end to get into the construction site. But he still did it anyway. But we got more. We've got more. Trying to do my oh God, I forget his name. Matthew Lillard. Oh, but wait, there's more. Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's actually Scary Movie. Sorry, wrong movie. Based on the same thing. Okay, let me get to chat. All right, then we're gonna go south, and then I'm gonna show you something else. But there's more. Okay, I just want to say, Girl Mom, thank you so much for the $4.99. I love the snarkiness. How was that vacation, Crispy, at Disney? I didn't even know they went to Disney, but yeah. Any flyers of Sebastian there? Great question, Girl Mom. I'm gonna write that down. I didn't even know he went to Disney. What? Of course, I was out for 2 months, so I missed some stuff. Disney, okay. Yeah. Jen, God bless you. You're the best, Chris. Love you, Jen. Oh, thank you so much. NJ's giving me another gifted Mob Crew membership. Thank you so much. If you do get gifted, if you could thank that person, thank you so much for everything you do. Siggy and Mike, thank you so much for the renewed membership. Jen, thank you so much for gifting a Mob Crew membership. Thank you so much, June, for the $1.99. God bless you, sweetheart. And Melanie Flowers, thank you so much for the $2. Sweet Tea, thank you so much for the 6 months. Maria, thank you so much for the $4.99. Mama, thank you for the 2 months. I really appreciate that. All right, so we got more. Looking at chat. All right, so let's read one more thing she says. That would take at least a week if you knew what the signature was and what you're looking for in the ground. But we don't know if he's in there or he does. We don't know if he's in something or not, depending on the fill and depth. Right. So she's basically saying, we don't know like how deep we're thinking this child could be buried in, because that's kind of the theory. Oh, there's construction going on. He slipped in somewhere and now he's buried, concrete or. Just they're moving dirt. And remember he tried to say, he might have tried to hide behind that industrial garbage can that they had out there or whatever. God almighty. He is truly something else. That might not be impossible at all. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Right. And that makes sense. Okay, so let's look at if he went south, and then we're going to put this all together because there's more. So again, we have the first problem, him just getting out, right? We have 2 cameras, one looking at the front. This clown in his stupid garbage truck. Get this garbage truck out of here. Oh my God, I'm so done with garbage trucks. Get it out of here. Okay, he can't. There's 3 exits. There's the front door. There's the 2 on the garage doors. But if you think he's going out of those and not being seen, if he's not disturbing that light, there's no way. If it ain't caught on this camera, it's caught on the camera facing the other, in the backyard facing the other way. In my opinion, there's just no way he is going north. That's just my opinion. I just can't see how he's not disturbing a light source. It would be quick, right? It'd be very quick. But, again, I digress. But maybe he goes right. He goes south. Again, she supposedly had planter lights here. So, again, if she has some planter lights, if he's walking in front of the planter lights, I think those would get disturbed, right? So, again, if he comes out the back, I would think there'd be a good chance. Now, remember, this is a little bit darker because we're trying to see the light in the bedroom, but we'll get back to that. Okay, so let's just say, theoretically, he gets out somehow. I think his best chance would be out the front door to the left. Again, depending on the lights in the front yard of the home, how bright they are. You know, again, that stupid trash truck that Fish Sticks is obsessed with. Anyway, but I think that'd be his best chance. Maybe the backyard, I don't know. So anyway, okay, so now he's going to try to go south, right? So somehow he gets past the first two main security cameras, right? Now, look at this gauntlet. Look at this gauntlet. Now, I'm going to explain some things because I want to be transparent. The lights facing the house, obviously we know that. The Henderson PD, he has multiple cameras. Obviously, being an officer, part-time Henderson PD, he has multiple cameras. This one here, I don't know if it's on 1012 or 1014. Now, this is very interesting. This is one of the cameras. There's two on Killen Ave that for some reason just did not pick up anything. Even though, remember, there's a car that goes up. We have multiple cars that go up Killen. Remember, we have the Uber driver and the 3M vehicle. For some reason, this camera, again, I'm not sure if it's on 1012 or 1014. From what I understand, now there could be maybe there is something there that they found and we just don't know. But in the beginning, we heard that there was some corruption with a couple cameras. This is one of them, from what I understand. Right? Look at this gauntlet. Right? So even if this is not active, right? So, and then with this cul-de-sac, I don't really know. I know that there's at least 1 to 2 homes that have cameras, but I don't know which way they're pointing. I'd assume they're pointing towards the driveway. I don't know. So I'm going to be transparent there. I know at least 1 or 2 have them, but I don't know where they're pointed. So I'll just be transparent in that. But I do know at least one of them has cameras, if not multiple. So now he's got to come down Stafford, and then guess what? The biggest camera of all, which has a motion light sensor that if you cross Stafford Street or Stafford Court, we know that's getting set off. And, you know, he might as well wave at the camera. So, again. But, okay, somehow he gets past that. Now he's going south. Oh, not to mention this house, you know, the boathouse. For those that have followed my channel, this guy has up to 7 cameras. I can tell because of, you know, his thing. Now, he may have some cameras that might be in the house. I don't know. I'd assume he's got at least one in the backyard facing, you know, when he parks his boats back here. Clearly, that's part of the reason why he got these cameras. Is to, you know, make sure no one hooks up his boat and takes off with it. But he has up to 7 channels. That tells me he has at least 7 cameras. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, oops, sorry. So, of course, this is the footage. And then we have, if he's going down Killen, guess what? We have 2 more cameras. We have, oh gosh, I gotta look at the number here. Kellen. Okay, Kellen, this guy's got a Ring camera. So this one here, he has a Ring camera. Or they, I should say they. I'm sorry, I don't know. And then we have, I think 1,000. And they have multiple cameras. Probably, I'm assuming one probably, I'm assuming a lot of these homes that have cameras probably have a camera that's facing their backyard and their pool. I think that would be a very, obviously especially have a motion sensor in your pool. So someone, if someone falls in your pool, you can, because of accidental drownings and stuff like that. So again, another gauntlet if he's going out killing Av. So again, in my personal opinion, I don't think there is any way this kid is just getting past all these cameras. My personal opinion. Let me know what you think in the chat. If you have something, and then this camera over here, I know there's like one or two homes in here. Again, it's not very clear which ones had the cameras, but I know one, at the very least, one has camera in on Winton Court. Okay, continuing on. Yeah, exactly. Fish sticks was there just for the money. Okay. One more thing. I still have a few more things. Let me take a sip here. That would be probably the police, because they were looking at all the cellar trap doors and stuff. That's on the if you listen to the scanner audio. Gosh, I forget the name. I could find the channel name. Somebody knows in chat, please let me know. But yeah, they talk about, hey, we need to check as many crawl spaces as we can. If we can't do it ourselves, we need to tell the homeowners to do it. So I think that's what she means by they. Okay, I'll get to chat in just a minute. One last thing. Okay, so let's look at the lights and the way that they traveled. And I apologize. Maybe let me do this. Oh, actually, I think I zoom it. Do I zoom in here? No, I don't think I do. Let me do this. No. Oh, there we go. Aha. So let's pull this up, right? So this orange line, this is Sebastian Rogers' home, right? This is what I believe the path. Now we know the path of the lights go this direction. And then, at the very least, it looks like one goes behind the home. Remember, I can't remember. I want to say it's 1012, but I could be wrong. One of these two had a camera, but I think, for some reason, it didn't capture anything. So do keep that in mind. They go. Do you think that is just coincidence or by design that they basically almost... I think the only reason why they got caught is they didn't realize this camera here, they thought that was pointing this way, and I don't think they realized that they would have been seen. Again, let me know what you think in chat. Do you think that's just a random coincidence? I'm 80% sure, and again, remember, there's more cameras I don't know about. Right? I'm still trying to kind of, again, I'll probably do maybe another live or a short video on this particular topic, but with more accurate information that I can, give to you guys. But again, do you think that's by design? I'm not sure. CC. Yeah, one of the Henderson PD guy was obviously this was trying to, that was supposed to be something that wasn't really supposed to be leaked out, but somebody else did that. Yeah, so the Henderson PD guy was in the command center and then for some reason went to the vigil and freaked out and said, "Oh my God, this is so bad," and it was just such a huge red flag. So anyway, I'm not going to go over, obviously, the lights. We've gone over this a million times. What was I going to... Okay. So remember whole fish sticks and Crewminati gang is trying to say that this is the field of the view of the camera. And I really do think that this is what they thought. I really think they did their homework. Obviously, Kit Kat and Crispy did their homework with their surveillance. And I think they misjudged this particular camera. Screwed up. And then whatever driver was involved, obviously... really screwed up when he then obviously pulled in and set off the motion lights. Oops. And then waited for them to shut off and then backed the hell out of there. Again, no coincidence there. Then, okay, so this is where, remember I told you guys that I was going to share something with you on the, I told you guys, I always tell you guys, if I'm going to share something that I haven't told you before, that I will do it. Yes, K9. Yeah, oh God. Like I said, one time we need to just do a video and just go over... I don't even know if we could go through all the red flags. That would probably take like 5 hours. I might be over exaggerating, but it might take at least an hour to go over probably the bigger ones. Just what happened to critical thinking and just common sense and just Occam's razor. Okay, so here I'm going to share something with you I haven't shared before. There's a little bit more to this that I have to wait, but you're going to kind of get half of it. And I may need your guys' help here as well. So give me a second. Okay. So you guys remember this? Fisher released this, right? Whatever. And this was supposed to be in regards of trying to say, oh, look, well, hey, look, it's 306. There's no lights going on, but yet you're blurring half the damn stuff that's important. But then, thanks to another creator, and really thanks to Crabtree, who then released the uncensored version. Now, why was this house blurred at 306? Sorry, it's taking a little bit longer. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Wait, what? What's that right there? This is at 306. That's the dining or living room. That'd be the living room. But this one, that's Kitty's bedroom's light on. There's no doubt about it. There's no damn reflection. People in the damn reflection. Oh my gosh. That's Kitty's. She has two windows, right? But remember, she has those shades that she can easily. But clearly, she didn't shut this one very well. That's her light on at 3:06 a.m. What's going on here? And clearly, we've got lights on Remember, they've got those. I forget those shades. If anybody can correct me in chat. So 307, 306. Here's Katie's light on. Oh. And then at 5 a.m., well, I'll be damned. Her light is now not on, which is just between this tree. We can still see the one light that's on. Oh, there's one more thing here. Okay, before I move on to the at night thing. Okay, I need help in the chat, guys. All right, we got 811 people in here. Does anybody remember? Here's something I'm going to release for you guys. Does anybody remember? There's a clip, and I know it's on Twitter. If anybody knows where I can find it. Oh, that's what they are. Yes, I think it's, yeah. Yeah, shutters. I think, yeah, shutters. Yeah. But plantation shutters. That's, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because they have the little quadrants and everything. I had an apartment that had those. Yeah. Does anybody remember? And if you can find this and send this to me via email. If you could even, again. So I'm going to call out, I hate to call out a channel, but there's, if you guys remember J for Justice, there's a clip with her. And again, if I'm wrong, shame on me. But I'm about 90%, I'm pretty sure I'm 90% right. It's a clip of her. And unfortunately, I was busy. There was like so much other stuff going on. So I didn't snag it. I'm sure it's on Twitter somewhere. And it's J for Justice saying, and she's talking about this, because remember, Crabtree went live. Now, I didn't see the live, because I was probably preparing my live or something. And so people had taken screenshots, right? So these are the screenshots. J for Justice had heard that he was starting to show the unblurred version and was allegedly freaking out and said something to the effect of, hey, we need to let Fish Sticks know that your boy Crabtree is playing this clip showing this. No, we're not talking about the ruckus. Get that ruckus. Yeah. Screw the ruckus. That is clickbait garbage. Clickbait garbage. No, not the ruckus. No, that's clickbait garbage. No. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Please, oh, God, I hope somebody does. Yeah. No, we're talking about this, not the ruckus. It's a clip on Twitter. I know it's on Twitter. I know it's there somewhere in the ether. It is little, and I'm 90%. It's J for Justice. Okay, Ashley says yes. If anybody knows and finds it, and it could even send it to me for this live so I could play it. I'm 90% sure. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because from what I understand, and if I'm wrong, shame on me, but I'm pretty sure 90% correct. Sound like she was upset, and she's literally quoted saying like, "Hey, Fish Sticks, your boy Crabtree over here is releasing, this footage." And again, if your goal is to find Sebastian, why don't you want transparency? Again, this is what I'm trying to say. Why wouldn't you want transparency? Remember, his live then got shut off, and then it's deleted, and thank God some people took some screenshots that we have. But yeah, there is a clip. I'm trying to find it. I know I will find it, but I'm 90% sure it's Jay speaking, and she's freaking out because he went live and he's showing the uncensored stuff. And I'm wondering, like, what the F? Like, why wouldn't you want transparency? Like, what if in this clip there's Sebastian Rogers, like, wandering around? Right? Okay, so there's some people that know. And I apologize. If you find it, that's great. If you can't, but if someone does, I'm telling you, I'll play it and it'll blow your mind, because it's like, what the F? What the F? All right. But yeah, I know it's on Twitter. It's somewhere in the ether. He got it through fish sticks, because remember, they were all a crew at one point. Now I don't know the entire backstory, but again, he was live. I didn't get to see it live because it got taken down, but thank God some people were taking screenshots. And these screenshots are huge because, again, here is Katie's bedroom light on at 3:06 a.m. Okay, a couple more things here, and we'll finish up. Okay, so At Night, and I just want to shout out At Night, because I know At Night has gotten some, and I think they're kind of changing the way they're doing things, which I kind of like what they're doing. But oh gosh, I might just have to pull up let me just pull this up. So let's look what At Night's doing, right? Because remember, Crispy and Kit Kat are allegedly handing out flyers, right? Well, let's look at what At Night has just recently done. Look at this. They're making flyers for other countries across the border to be on the lookout. And so they've got this one that's in English, but they also have one, I'm assuming, that's in Spanish and maybe some other languages. I'm not sure. But look at this. I mean, look at this. This is amazing that they're putting this stuff together. Do you see Kit Kat and Crispy doing any of this? Right? Absolutely not. And if anybody says like they found the clip, mods, please let me know, because I would love to play that clip. I will find it if we don't get it. I know it's on Twitter. I know it's on Twitter. It'd be around the time when that footage came out, and I want to say that was before the anniversary. No, that was after the anniversary, wasn't it? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was after the anniversary. I want to say it's somewhere between February and March. Somewhere in there. But yeah. They've been making flyers, putting out billboards, So let's read At Night's thing here, see what you guys think. I kind of understand maybe why they're trying to say some of these words. Okay, so it's At Night. The division has not been effective in the past and is unlikely to be effective in the future. Several analysts believe there's evidence of a kidnapping. No way. And parental kidnapping has not been considered a theory since sometime in October, which our analysts and Virginia-based independent contractor provide their intelligent dossier. The alleged fake satellite imagery, which, oh my gosh, there's a certain channel that went after the fake satellite, and oh my God. You can request satellite photos from third-party companies at any time. Obviously, you can't get just any picture. It depends on when the satellite is going over, but you can get them. And it's clear as day because they're so much better. This one person was trying to say, oh, well, they just took Google images, which, although the Google images are now getting better, I think they're now starting to use like the satellite imagery or whatever. Anyway, absolutely stupid. But in this first part, they basically say we don't think, we think there's a kidnapping, but we're not sure about the parents. But in my opinion, I really think, while our opinion is not definitive, we do not believe Mr. Rogers, Mr. Proudfoot, or Mrs. Proudfoot had any involvement based on our communications. I think this is just my opinion, I think this is more to kind of calm the waters on that side of things, right? And just stick with just kidnapping, which I'm totally fine with that end. We have been in contact with current administration. Letters being drafted by FBI Director Kash Patel and Director Dan Bongino. I'm sorry if I butchered that. And then they basically say, we operate under the assumption that Sebastian is alive until evidence indicates otherwise. I do respect that. They double down on there'd be signs of kidnapping. So kind of another statement to somebody else, just short and basically saying, I think this is more just to kind of just say, hey, we believe it's kidnapping, and kind of playing nice and not to try to be as outspoken as they were with their team. I don't know. Again, that's just my interpretation. Let me know what you think in chat. But in my opinion, I don't give a shit. I want to rock the boat right now, because right now this poor kid is missing and this case is growing cold and there's just way too much evidence and it needs to go into another department's hands, right? Sumner County, they've had their chance. Give it to somebody else. Again, they wanted to go to the federal level. From what Jennifer said, who is former FBI, she said that's likely not to happen. That, again, I would think it's got to be across state lines or some kind of something happens on federal ground. But she did mention that this National Center for Exploited Children, they do have a task force and that they could take over again, which is kind of crazy. So again, I'm trying to reach out, because once I know, who we could email, because, I just don't want to, because I don't want people emailing Sumner County, because, just in case if they're getting tips, the last thing we want to do is flood them. And then, if there's, say, that 1 in a million chance tip that comes in and it gets overlooked, that would not be good. So, but yes, this, again, we need to back up Seth, and just get this out of Sumner County's hands, right? And why we need to do that, and I'll show you why we need to do that. Let's see, where are they? Where are you? 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 Look at, oh shit. There's Caroline with her ERI. I'm sorry, I called that GPR. But same concept. God, I know I had one. Ugh. I might revisit the cars and stuff. Where is it? I know I put it in here. Oh, there's us going under the roof. Anyway, where is it? One more time. They're probably not in there for very long, so that's why. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Son of a... Then I'm gone. All right, let me just do it this way. Okay, 1 second, guys. I just want to make one other statement, and then I'll read chat here, and we'll finish up. Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh, if I can spell. Okay. You see these guys right here? Oh, it's probably hard. See these guys right here? If you don't know, this is Dylan Rounds, the first case I worked on. That's his father. That's his mother. Now, they split up. They had from what I understand, I know I could be wrong, but it sounded like it was a nasty breakup, right? But when it came to, I was going to say Sebastian, when it came to finding Dylan Rounds, they put their differences aside, and they were on a mission. And I've got to work with both of them separately, together, and the ferocity in both of them is just something just unheard of. Candace Cooley, right? So this is just one of the other things I just want to point out, and I think I've mentioned this before. When Dylan Rounds' case got big, right, or started popping off, there was a channel out there that was clowning on them hard. Clowning. And, I had some wild conspiracy theories. Just clowning on them. You know what Candace did? Said, you know what? She reached out to the creator. Said, hey, I'll come on your channel. Because she knew he had a pretty big, as far as Dylan Rounds, he had a big audience. I'll be honest, I was a little mad at the beginning. She did come on my show a bunch as well, but I was really blown away because I lived in Utah. This guy didn't. I think he was in California. Anyway, long story short, she went on a show, ask me anything you want, and then she was on his show like every week, right? And then when she wasn't on his show, they were out there working. They were out there looking, doing whatever they can, getting a reward up there. Interviews. If they weren't doing interviews, oh my God, like when I'd reach out to her, she would, be like just getting out from a nap or something. Like they were always doing something, right? But again, you do not see that. Again, this is where I'm trying to kind of say my experience, little experience that I have working with Searching for the Missing. Seth Rogers' reactions, the way he behaves, is what I have experienced. Kit Kat and Crispy, complete opposite. They want to go on vacation. Crispy wants to troll YouTube. And again, if you want to look up his greatest hits, I would have to censor 90% of it where he is just bad-mouthing women. And he's a pig. He's just a pig. He's a little man. He's a little guy. Little wimpy man who thinks he can, talk down to women. In my opinion. Allegedly, right? Be careful. Okay. All right. Let's get to chat real quick here. Let me just let this play while we read chat. And thank you to everybody being in here. God bless you guys. Melanie, thank you so much for the 5 gifted Mob Crew memberships. That is so sweet. Real quick, before I get more to chat. I'm working on something for Brian Kohlberger. Because there is like some unseen footage that I haven't really seen anybody else release that was on the Dateline, and that audio that was out there. Pretty wild. So I'm going to do that. I'll release it for the Patreons and members first, and then I will put it for everybody else as well. Melanie Flowers, thank you so much for the $5. God bless you, sweetheart. Melanie Hausar. God, I hope it is. I'm just going to go Melanie A. I'm sorry, it's really small. Thank you so much for gifting a Mob Crew membership. God bless you, sweetheart. Linda D. renewing a membership. God bless you, sweetie. And we got Cooper. Another one. You're on fire tonight. Thank you, Cooper. That is so huge. Please show everybody love in the chat for doing that. And Cooper, you are a legend. God bless you. That is so awesome. He is. He's, yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Beth. So much. Did anybody say that they found that clip of J for Justice? I'm not trying to call out J for Justice. I just want to find that clip because I remember when I heard that, I was like, "Whoa, what is going on there?" That would not surprise me at all. That would not surprise me at all. Oh, thank you so much, Gam Gam. I love that, Gam Gam. I don't know if you took that from Horrible Bosses. Such a great comedy, Horrible Bosses, and the sequel. Oh my God, what a great group of comedians to put together. Yeah, it was. No thanks. Yeah, was it Doug? I can't remember his name, but yeah, they were clowning her big time, even like threatening lawsuits and stuff. And then she went right on his channel, and they were best friends. You know, instead of going on and going, "Oh, don't talk about me. Don't talk about this. No, don't talk about that." No, she was completely transparent. She's like, "You ask me anything, I'll tell you what I can." And then, of course, the biggest thing she did is she got it out of the hands of, I think it's Elko. I could be wrong. I'm trying to think of the other county that's out there. But then she got it into Weber State. And they took that case more seriously. And that's when the ball got rolling. They arrested James Brenner. Things got moving much better. I think this could be the same thing. This is why we really need to kind of start rocking the boat in this case. I don't care if I've got to piss some people off and be the snarky Chris. I'd rather be the humble Chris that you guys have come up and love to know. But I just feel like I need to, I don't know. Remember, last time just before Crispy threatened me, it was when I heard this bullshit.
Being done on their dime.
Being parked at like Warsham.
Oh, sorry.
No, God!
Line and start marching through fields. I can't because one, there's a lot of legal issues. There's a lot of health issues.
Hey, Carolyn, did we when we were searching and when you were crawling under that house, which if you haven't seen, I'll show you guys real quick. When Carolyn was crawling under this, what is like this much. God, like this much space, right? You're just, there's no room. You're under a home, right? Crawl space. And we're trying to look for this poor girl's, remains. Was there any legalities that we were worried about, right? Did we sign anything when we did that? Yes, crawled with Larry. I bruised my ribs. But, I wasn't going to sue the homeowner or anything. This piece of This right here. Do you think we were signing any waivers before we did this? So that's Larry, the father, who's looking for his 2-year-old, 30-year-old, 30-plus-year-old, 40-year-old cold case? 30 so long. That's him under it. And then guess who's not only the stud in this, Larry, but Carolyn, who is in the chat. She goes in there and she's in there, both of them, for hours. You got black widows, you've got centipedes, all the creepy crawlies you can think of are under there. And they were under there for hours. Hours. She did not hesitate. She is a stud. I'm claustrophobic. Like, I got under there a little bit, but I'm not tooting my horn at all because I was like, second I got under there for a little bit, I panicked. Yeah, I don't think, and yeah, legends, absolute legends. And unfortunately, I do have the footage of Carolyn as well, but I wasn't sure if she was going to be in there. But that's so cool that you're here, because that's funny. You know, I'm bringing up the Amber Crumb case. Town Chat Cafe. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. It is. Again, just with the experience I've had. I've also worked on the Dior case. If anybody knows 411, Bald 411, we went out there. I have videos on the Dior case. I could tell you with a good percentage, he was probably never out there. If he was out there maybe like that first day, but he didn't run off. I can say that with like 99%. He did not run off. There's just no way. Anyway, and I go over that in my videos. That kid was most likely sold off. I don't think human trafficking. I think I'm trying to be positive with, for those that know the Dior case. It's a missing 411, David Pilates. Dior Coons. 2-year-old? 2, 3, somewhere around there. Yeah, no way he just wandered off when they turned their heads for 2 seconds. It's ridiculous. Anyway, you know what those parents did? They left. They did the same thing that Crispy and KK did, except they just left the states. They're both in 2 different states. You know what? They were there in the beginning for a little bit, and then they're gone. They're gone. They had 3. I think they're on their like 4th PI. Maybe they're, and if that PI is still on, every PI they had 3 PIs, and they all, I'm sure they finally are like, yeah, these guys are lying. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, thank you, ladies. Yeah, I will try to find it. I know it's there. It is there. And oh man, I wish I would have recorded it, because my jaw dropped, but unfortunately, I was just doing something else, and I didn't record it. Thank you, Cooper. Thank you to everybody. Please thank my mods. God bless them coming in here and helping out. Thank you to everybody taking the time out of the channel to watch the channel. I'm sorry. I start reading things and yeah. Hey, Gigi, good to see you. I wish I could shout everybody out. Lil Red, Bubble Beth, Officer, good to see you. Lawyer, of course. Yeah, but that's how I've been. I like both sides, yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna finish it there. Oh yeah, I went 2 hours. I usually try to stick with an hour and a half. Again, I'm gonna do some stuff with Brian Kohlberger. The Lily and Jack case, God, that case has just gotten so weird. I think a lot of people have kind of checked out of that case. I don't think everybody has, but like, it's just gotten weird. I don't know, but I think this case, it gets into somebody else's hands. I think this case can be solved. And then one other thing, if somebody knows somebody that has footage from that neighborhood and wants to email me, I'll be more than happy to look at it. I don't have to put it on my YouTube page or anything. I never do that without the permission from those that give that footage to me. But I'd be more than happy to study footage behind the scenes. More than happy. So, if anybody's out there that knows somebody, especially that footage, that's pointing, well, I'm sure I wouldn't get it from the HPD guy, but, the lady across the street, I would love to see that footage. And the boat guy's footage, of course, that's not viewed through a cell phone. Thank you, Jenny. No, yeah, I'm gonna do another Brian Cooper. Like I did one just for the court hearing thing, but I did a live that was kind of partially that. I think that's what you're talking about, Lisa. But yeah. All right, guys. All right, y'all. Blackwater, good to see you. Cheyenne, everybody. I shot everybody out. Yeah, you're right, Ashley. Yeah, it was this year, February. Yeah, I was starting to get close, but I think it was like almost someone reposted her thing, so I don't know. Yeah, but you're right, Ashley. It's going to be around February, March in the Twitter sphere with the Sebastian Rogers. I know there's a clip. Somebody clipped it. I know it's there. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're at. I'm going to play pet outro. We'll try to get more pets for the members and patrons. And with that, thank you so much, Piggy. Oh, you guys are so sweet. God bless you guys. We'll try to get back on the live show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday or Sunday. And then some videos in between. So there's stuff for everybody. With that, guys, God bless. I hope you guys had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. And we'll see you guys soon. Hush.
Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Get faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just picking up daisies.